This grief journey we're about to listen to is one with many twists and turns, and it definitely can't be put into a box with just one label. It starts with the loss of a childhood. It doesn't end there, but I will say this. There are some trigger warnings in advance for some abuse and references to sexual abuse. It takes a great deal of courage and preparation mentally to revisit your grief journey. It brings up a lot of old feelings buried deep, even ones you didn't even prepare for. This is Hollie's journey.
It wasn't like churchy. It was so spiritual. And he just told me that I needed to kind of listen to the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, that inside of you is the truth. And so when you're dealing with mental illness, when you're dealing with people in the world that have kind of a disguise, that you have to listen to that inner voice because it will never lie to you. And it changed my life.
Wow.
I then again realized the monster I was living with, that I had to go back to Alaska. And that's when I devised my 9-month plan of escaping my mother.
Oh, I'm getting the chills. Because at 12 is when we're woke. I call that being woke. When we realize our parents are the monsters.
Yeah. And, there were some things that, we can talk about later that were reasons, like your subconscious is super interesting because even though I knew the truth, it's not easily rewritten from just hearing it.
Yep.
You have to see many things. You have to make many memories to rewrite those. And so I love my dad and he's a great person, but it just wasn't safe yet. Like I couldn't.
There were so many holes.
There were so many holes. There was so much that I had to realize. So I knew that my goal needed to be to get to Utah and I needed to come to my grandmother. But she was also painted as a very wicked woman by my mother. And so it had to be very strategic.
Okay.
And I had to make sure that I got there.
It's so interesting to me, I have to say, how you evolved so quickly.
It was crazy.
Like, that's kind of a little bit how we share this so much, and that's why we're best friends. But this is how I evolved too. Like, the minute I had the gift of discernment opened up to me, I was like, and I must evolve. And once I was asking for questions in my mind, how can I do this? Oh, it's almost like I was having my higher self answer these questions, and I was getting the downloads. And that's when I started evolving.
It's crazy, but yes, like I think you answered it right on. Like you feel like you almost got that extra chip now that you know this is what you have to do. To kind of talk about the child I remember being was very obedient, very submissive to whatever, I'll do whatever my mom says, kind of.
Were you a rule follower?
Very much.
Like I am, like Girl Scout. Like I do everything to the rule. Like I'm the first in class to hand in the homework. I'm the first to do I am just the rule follower. If I'm not supposed to break a rule, I will not break that rule. I never toe out a line.
Yeah.
And yet I was always
scary.
Yeah. But yet always because of my background of having such a broken home, everyone always would assume I was the first to be the thief or the naughty girl. It's so bizarre that way, isn't it? How we are painted out to be that way.
Yeah.
Interesting, but go on.
But I think because people, living in a very strict culture in Utah, it was, it was very hard growing up thinking, oh, your parents are divorced. You can't play with my children because, divorce is apparently contagious.
Yes. I was an LDS growing up, so the kids couldn't play with me, but it was just like, well, my parents smoked, so you must be a smoking child. Right. You're going to smoke. Obviously, you're going to have an ashtray in your bedroom. Right. As an 8-year-old. Dolls and ashtrays.
Correct.
Kill me.
It was just very interesting watching other people's perspective of me. And so at the age of 13, I actually had a fully devised plan on how to get to Utah. Came and lived with my grandma. And then once I was here, I was very much, I'm speaking of my higher self
Yeah.
with the Lord. I was then instructed to tell my grandma once I was here. I had to literally say nothing to anyone in Alaska as I came across, just in case something came back to my mom. I knew that she would hide me. I knew that there would be some destruction.
My whole practice and what I do as a chaplain is completely based on the guidance of angels and ancestors, and I have no doubt, Holly, that you were guided by your angels and ancestors.
Oh yes, I
Ooh,
absolutely,
just gives me the chills.
absolutely. I've said before, I think that I wouldn't be here, or I would be a streetwalker. It's what I used to say if I had continued to live with her. I feel like she just was so mentally ill that once my eyes were open, I needed to run.
You are in your home with grandma, and you have been given the gift of basically discernment and what your next steps are.
Yes. So my grandma actually knew that my mom would fight really hard for me,
Okay.
being the baby of the family. And so actually, she fought harder than I think my grandma even realized.
Wow.
So I had to be emancipated. And so that's also a lot longer story, but very God inspired. I know that the Lord was with me through the whole thing and inspired me on what words to use. And it was great.
And for more of Holly's story about her mom and her journey and mental illness, you will have to check out our journey on moms and mental illness, which we will share with you later.
I love that. It definitely will be exciting.
Yes. And
moms with mental illness really do make and shape children.
Yeah.
And
it's so sad.
Journeys. Yeah.
Because I think that it's a story that needs to be shared.
Yeah. So now it is me, my sister Kay, and my sister A, and my brother M had actually already gotten married and had a child, and he was struggling. He had a lot of mental illness that was going on, a lot of addiction. And so that also, added to the journey a little bit. He was 24 and I was 16. So I'm kind of fast forwarding a little bit when he took his life.
Oh, Holly, I'm so sorry.
And he had really some deep issues that hadn't been quite dealt with. He had actually ended up back in Alaska and in prison for some time. So him taking his life was how he felt like he could leave this world and get out. And so it was devastating for our whole family. I had one brother that was in Alaska, my brother A, and the rest of us were in Utah trying to figure this whole depression and trying to figure everything. I had met my husband unknowingly at the time a month before, and there's just so many different things, elements that I know that God's hand was in it, but it didn't explain the grief. It didn't explain how much, I was really angry with God.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time I was very angry of like, why would you take him? Like we had just barely gotten somewhat back together. We had, how is this what life is going to be?
And do you mind me asking what the circumstances of his passing were?
It was a meth overdose.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Did he intentionally do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we have been told.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure just because my mom was in the home and
I'm not sure what that would even look like.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
So that was difficult, but I kind of made a line in the sand at that point and made a promise to God that I know this is not what you technically promised, but as a 16-year-old not understanding everything, I said I won't lose another sibling. Like I can't do it. I cannot lose anyone else in my family. And I felt myself like cling to what I had. I felt like we had been so ripped apart and years of back and forth, and there had been sexual abuse and lots of mental grooming. And I finally just felt like my grandma was kind of gathering us and helping us get back together. And then I felt one was lost. And I didn't know how to grieve it, honestly. There was a lot in the church at that time that talked about, suicide and being kind of the end. If you do that, it's kind of a final, kind of you go to hell, and I know that the church has come so much further than that, but it really is unexplainable when a 16-year-old is just angry, just super angry.
Yeah.
So making that line in the sand, I decided, as siblings, we're all going to have Christmas parties. We're going to have birthday parties. We're going to gather for everything we possibly can. My brother's son was 5 at the time of the suicide. And so I was like, we just have to, and just keep us together. So I did everything we could to make sure that we had as many parties as we possibly could. And throughout the years, it became a fight. It became, family pictures were just like, oh my gosh, it's Hollie asking for this thing. Or, oh my goodness, like, why is Hollie wanting prayer before we have food together?
So it backfired.
It backfired, for sure.
Okay, so we're going to jump forward now. So you're in a headspace where you're like, I just lost my brother and I'm never going to have this happen again. And your heart is in a space where you're like, I want my family to grow, and you're feeling all this love and you're wanting to hold on and grasp so tightly to something you never want to lose again. And ultimately this backfires.
Oh, big time. Big time. I think the biggest thing is every single person on this earth was given the amazing gift of agency.
Yeah.
It's an amazing gift.
Sorry to laugh, but it's just, it's so eloquently this amazing gift. Yeah.
It's an amazing gift. But the thing I hadn't learned at that time was I cannot pull people across the finish line, nor can I pull them together as a family if they truly don't want it. And
their finish line, it was not your finish line.
Yeah.
That's the hurt. That's the pain of it.
It was the pain of it.
I think
it was the pain of it.
They
for
didn't
sure.
see your vision.
They didn't see the vision, but they didn't want it.
That's the pain.
Yeah. That was the pain that I had to come to realization that the gathering that I felt like I was trying to do with them was really kind of pulling them across that finish line and gathering them and all the kids together and what can we do to gather all these children. And it really became, like such a burden to them.
So
to
take
be a
me
part of my
through
life.
some of the emotions you must have felt. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not wanted. I'm rejected. Any of these?
Oh, 100%.
What else?
Abandonment.
Of course.
Abandonment keeps coming up in all of my trauma process.
So did you ever seek therapy?
Oh, yes.
I know. I had to ask.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever had anxiety? You've had to be put on any medications?
Yes. There's a long history of therapy, a lot of abuse of therapy, if you would put it that way.
Okay.
My mom used it to gather information, so it became part of her more mental illness.
Of course.
But with that,
and I have to applaud you right here. A lot of people who have mentally ill parents have weaponized therapy, and some people do not return to therapy because of this. And I have to applaud you for not letting that stop you from going back and seeking mental help. Mental health awareness is so important, and seeking help for yourself is something that we all need to do. And so I really want to applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I honestly, it came, I had 5 children in this time of realizing that they truly did not want me a part of their life. And so it came from little things that were coming up, anger that was coming up. And obviously that wasn't necessarily from my siblings. It was more from my mother, but it was manifesting raising kids and seeing their free agency. And
yeah, it hurts.
It does hurt. It hurts so bad because you feel like you're going to do so good with these children. And once you realize that you literally are just guiding and directing them and teaching them as best you can, but they have to want it too. It was a rejection in many ways. I love my kids so much, but them watching me be demolished was so it was getting to the point where I had children who were starting to talk to me the way that my siblings were. And my husband has been so good through this whole thing. I haven't talked a ton about him. He is my saving grace. I met him before my brother committed suicide, but he had loved me through that whole thing. And my siblings have had love-hate relationships with him. And this is like the ultimate best guy in the whole world who has led me on a path back to God that I really wouldn't be here without him. He helped me see that God truly has a bigger plan. Especially after losing my brother, I was very much willing to throw every goal in my entire life out the door because I was so devastated. And so when I told him, I think I need to step away from my siblings and completely see if they want me in their life, that it was the hardest thing because I was dealing with childhood trauma.
Okay.
Again, of abandonment. And then also feeling like I was letting the Lord down because I had made him this promise that I was going to make him cross the finish line, even if I pulled him across.
And bringing the Lord into that picture for you, knowing your convictions, is like you were letting him down.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
Well, and I think my conviction of God really comes from, yes, being raised with strong beliefs, but I think there's been many accidents, especially with the car accident, where God was very involved. I know he absolutely saved me. I mean, I had many different elements of damage on my entire body, and doctors who said there's no way she's going to survive this. And so I really felt like everything and who I am, even down to having children, came from God. And so when I felt like I let him down, there was a grief period where I had to accept that it was part of the plan, the bigger plan of allowing them agency.
Yeah.
And that was really tough.
And grieving your body doesn't know the person has passed away or is still living. You literally grieved your siblings.
Yeah.
Was it all of them? Was it one? Was it two?
It was all of them.
Okay. And I don't think you let go of them on like physically. I think you let go of an idea.
I did.
The ideas that you had held on to, that you painted, this photo album that scrapbook you'd been making mentally. There was this concept. You were letting go of a lot.
I was.
Past, present, and future.
Yeah. And there was some estrangement with my brother A that had happened already. So he kind of had pulled himself away. And so it kind of felt like I just needed to stop trying because I needed to make a realization that he didn't want it.
Okay.
And that it was kind of a relationship on his terms. And that's been hard. I mean, It was me and him in Alaska, and it was me and him who have they're all good memories, but it was me and him.
And that's just it. They're just memories.
Yeah.
It's not, and you wanted that camaraderie to keep going. And
yeah.
I know the grief. It's so ugly.
It is ugly.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
Can I take a whack at this guess and say that maybe your family didn't grieve as hard as you did?
Yeah.
And that was a grief in itself?
It was a grief in itself.
Like, wait a minute, guys. You're not missing me dragging you along to all these family things that I thought you liked all this time that you really didn't?
Mm-hmm.
And we have all this free time that you kind of didn't think that we needed. And yeah.
To be fair, I had my sister Kay, who actually lost a spouse, which was also very traumatic for her family.
For sure.
But
did you try to save the day?
I did. I tried to.
Because that's what you do.
It is what I do. Because I feel like being the youngest and was favored by my mom weirdly and mentally weird. That
you say favored. Is your mom no longer with us?
She is no longer with us. No, she committed suicide 5 years after my brother had passed.
Oh my gosh.
So it's interesting. There's different things with my mom throughout the time of living with her that she attempted many times. And so there's different grieving periods
Oh my
of
God.
feeling like I lost my mom over and over again. And when it finally happened, that it was kind of like, number one, she succeeded. Number two, it was like she's finally out of pain. And third, really odd, and you only understand this if you have a mentally ill parent, is we finally can move forward.
And it's almost a sense of relief.
It was a sense of relief.
I'll say this, and I know maybe someone will not understand this, but I was so relieved when my mom died. I was almost like, yay, she's gone.
Yeah.
And it was the demons that she fought. That's
Yeah.
what I was relieved that
Yeah.
I mean, I grieved very hard for my mom's passing, but I couldn't wait for my mom to pass.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, like all of us really felt like the scariest part was she going to haunt us? Like, is this her way of
And she does, Mom.
getting
Thank you.
back at us kind
Yeah.
of thing, like
Yeah.
having the last say? And so we can go in more detail on our other.
Oh, mother.
Yes.
You will get your podcast, Mom. Okay, so your brother and your mother. Okay, that derailed me so hard. Sorry. Mothers do that. So you decide that you're going to take a break. What did that look like? And was it healing? Where are you now?
So what it really did was, my sister loses her husband very tragically, very tragically. And my husband was one of his really good friends. My sibling, or my children, all five of my children were really struggling. And I felt very guilty for having a family. I know that sounds really horrible, but my husband was safe, my children were safe, and my husband could take care of that. So I felt
That's called survivor's guilt.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I felt like I needed to be there for my sister in a way that I
think I deal with
guilty.
survivor's guilt every single day, so
Really?
I completely get that. Mm-hmm.
I felt like I had so much that I needed to give. And it was my husband who said, I want you to realize that we're grieving too. And it hit really hard in the sense of
that hits me hearing him say that.
Yeah. Like I was like, I have neglected my own family.
Oh, wow.
Feeling like I needed to help my sister. And she had a couple friends who had said some really horrible things about me being there to help clean her house, make a meal, just being present. That
rude
really took me back. Yeah. It put into perspective that they were saying that, what was my sister saying to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really hard. It was really hard. So my final line in the sand was, there was a family meeting. We were supposed to come chew the children out for responding in a way that, I personally don't know how to respond as a 13, 15-year-old losing their only father figure in their life that truly had made such a difference. I don't know as a child what normal grief is. Obviously, it's whatever behavior they're showing. And I was talking to my niece and kind of teasing her. She was laying on the couch, and my husband and I come to her and we're kind of squishing her and just kind of being like, hey, what's going on? And just kind of quiet before the family meeting. And she said, well, my mom said that she hates me like she hates you.
Oh my gosh.
And those words have really sunk deep in my throat and definitely in my gut, where I'm like, wow. I was like, that can't be true. And she goes, oh yeah, she tells me all the time. And I just saw the pain in her eyes, and I just thought, this isn't right. These kids are hurting. Why would we come chew them out for not reacting the right way, when what is the right way to grieve?
As somebody who deals with children bereavement, I'm sickened truly to my guts.
Yeah. So she would have been 15 at the time, 14, 15 years old. And I really talked to my husband after that meeting, and I just said, I need to step away, even if it's for the health of my niece and nephew, even if it is for the betterment of my family, so that they don't have to be reminded of hate for me. Just, that was hard. That was really hard to be like, if somebody hates me that much, if I keep coming around, I'm reminding them of how much they hate me and how unfair.
Who wants to be in the presence of somebody who hates you? That is
Yeah.
not at all the light that I want shined on me.
Right.
Oh, how I can relate.
Yeah. So I literally just months after that, I was in counseling this whole time.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
See, this is why I love you.
Counseling was in and out of my life. Definitely, I knew that counselors have tools that I didn't have. Even
Bravo.
if it had been weaponized, I knew that somehow they had tools that I needed to acquire.
And I love to, if people need to hear this message, like they not only have tools, one of the greatest tools they have is a place that you can dump.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, I have a place to dump information that isn't in my home, isn't
Right.
on my friends, isn't on my anywhere, like my job, my place of work, on the gas lady, the gas attendant. I can take this trauma and dump it on somebody else.
Yeah.
That's the best tool that they have, even if it's not your favorite place to go.
Yeah. And really, I had these counselors who I would lay things out and I'd be like, I know I need to try harder. I know I should do this or that. And they would say, why do you feel that you need to?
Yeah.
And it would really like put into perspective of like, oh, well, because they're my family. Like, that's what you do. This is what you do. And a lot of it was trying to heal trauma that wasn't mine, and also I didn't inflict any of that.
Can you repeat what you said? You guys, this is so important. I hear this from, I don't know if it's just a family cultural thing, because I don't have very much family to base this on. I don't know if it's a pioneer thing or if it's an LDS thing. We feel like we have to do this because we're a family.
Yes.
Is it LDS? And maybe you don't know because you're in it too.
You know what?
We're all traumatized. We don't know, but we feel this obligation. Can you please repeat what you just said? It's so, I hear it all the time.
That we feel like an obligation because we're in a family.
Yeah.
But I think it's not just LDS. I think it's part of, we're born into a family, whether that looks broken, crazy, added.
I don't think it's LDS, because you see it too. Like, my dad went to college. My dad's a doctor. I have to be a
Yes.
doctor. Okay, I think it's a family system. I think
Mhm.
it's a thing. I sound so uneducated, but I just see it all the time, and I see this disappointment, and we just feel this obligation, and it could be in women. We do it as women.
Yes.
We do it as wives, and we just put this immense amount of pressure on ourselves to just live up to these expectations. And what you said was so important, and I love that you. What did you tell us again? What did your therapist say?
When I was talking about all the grief, and he was like, why do you feel the need that you have to fix it or that you have to heal it? This isn't yours. And it really did have me pull back. And he asked me, he said, in your mind, what does it look like if you don't reach out, if you don't do that? And I said, that I don't have a family. And he goes, but you do have a family. And I said, wait a minute. I said, no, like, if I pull away, I don't have a family. And he goes, but you have a husband and 5 children. He's like, what do you mean you don't have a family? And it was the first time in my mind, I know this sounds silly, that when I said my family, that I was thinking of the one I created and not the one I came from. It was tough.
It is tough. And I think a lot of us spend that time chasing our childhood. And I think it's because, I'm going to go back to what I first said, we have to start at the beginning. We all live in our trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I believe firmly that we are grieving our child, our inner child, all the time. And our inner children is who we are today. And I think a lot of people are saying, no, no, no. And we're stuffing that down. But really, our inner children are that's who reacts on a bad day. You're angry at somebody and we snap out, but that's the inner child who's grieving, and that's the reaction that we get. But honestly, if we could nurture our inner child more, I honestly think that we would be a lot happier people. So where are you now?
You know what? I'm in a really good place.
How long has it been since that happened?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years.
Oh my gosh. So you did it.
I did it.
And have you reached back? And did they reach out? What did that look like for them?
So
And was it radio silence from
it
them?
was radio silence
I'm
for
not
a long time.
surprised. Sorry.
I know.
I'm not
I
surprised.
I was. I
Of
was
course.
very surprised.
And hurt.
Very hurt. Very hurt because I thought I was more important to them.
Of course, because look at all the energy you gave them. You thought some of that energy would come back.
Yeah.
It's not a two-way street, but you thought it was?
Yeah. I just thought that just being their sister was important enough to just kind of go, oh, that's Hollie. That's just Hollie. Like she's kind of quirky that way, or, oh, she wants to pray over the food before we
You thought they would miss that.
I thought that they would miss me.
And all the energy you'd given them, you thought that they would have something to give back.
Yeah. Yeah. It in the 8 years, we've lost our maternal grandmother, and you would think that would somehow
the one that raised you, the one
that raised us and like really saved, us kids from, I'd say, eternal hell.
Yeah.
Like it really felt like hell on earth. She really just fought. I mean, she had this fight in her of, not leaving a child without a safe haven. And she really provided that. She was not this fluffy grandma. She was a strict grandma, but she was my grandma, She really instilled in me some really powerful mother instincts that I raised my children with. And so when we lost her, it was my brother A who actually reached out. I've been in elderly care since 2009. And so I have learned some tricks and tips of how to help elderly kind of pass from this life to their next destination. And it was actually really devastating to do that with the one person I felt like saved me, that God gave me her to help me further my life in this life. And so I was able to have the strength to say goodbye, to help her. And my brother knew her wishes. My two sisters did not like that I was assisting her. Her biggest thing was that she did not want to be dependent on anyone.
Okay.
She did not want to be put in a home. She had seen what that was like.
Right.
In her younger years, it was
pretty
rough.
Horrible.
Yeah. And to help her pass peacefully in her own home, in her bed, with her loving husband, and, being able to have her family come say goodbye. She just was not like the huggy, lovey, sensitive grandma, but that was so amazing. And I remember my sisters being very angry that I couldn't save her. And thinking that, that's really not my job and really not where she was at anyways.
Sure.
What
an honor that you were able to do that for her. And I love that you had all of the tools and you were not inadequate at that. So now you can't beat yourself up like, well, if I only knew how to give patient care, which you did.
I did.
Yes. Yeah. Sounds like you had a really growing moment too.
It did.
Full circle with the siblings as well.
Yeah.
So I would say my question would have been, how have you grown? I think that was a growing moment.
That was a huge growing moment.
Any other growing moments?
I have had many. The peace that has come from finally deciding that I chose my family I created.
Yay.
I chose to focus on the importance of helping my siblings by stepping away.
Yeah, that's growth for them.
It is growth for them. And to, even if they don't feel like I'm the one that needs to be in their life, they chose it. And that's okay.
Yep.
And that's okay. And it has been 8 years. It did take about 5 years of PTSD and grieving and a lot of therapy, a lot of anxiety meds. And that journey has been very spiritual. I know that the Lord has guided me and also comforted me in that healing process, because it is very hard to face that trauma and to realize that it's okay to let go. It's okay to allow them to grow And if they don't want to grow with you, it's okay to let that go and know that the Lord can heal things too. And it might not be in this lifetime.
And this is why we call it living grief, because you'll see a post of your sisters or your brothers on Facebook and it stings. They're still living, yet in your mind they're not living with you.
Yeah.
You kind of grieved that they're not a part of your life in that way anymore, but you see they're still thriving and they still are happy, but it's not with you. And they don't want to be a part of your life.
Well, I want to add too is they don't really have a relationship with each other at all.
Okay.
So it's not just me necessarily. It is that they don't have a relationship. They don't do gatherings. They don't do any parties. And it really was 8 years ago where it was because I was doing it. I was putting in the work, putting in the phone calls, putting in the, hey, let's do this. Let's do family pictures. And so it really does kind of go, okay, like we needed those memories, but they are memories.
Yeah. Are you happy that you made that choice?
I am. Good. Definitely. Yeah. I felt really free when I made it, but it was the PTSD that keeps coming back up and thrown in your face of, you should reach out, you should be better, and they're going through hard times and maybe this or that. And I really felt at peace that the Lord was like, it's okay if you don't, and you can pray for them. Praying for them is a way to give God the power to help them in a way that I physically can't help them.
How does this change your perspective on the relationship you have expectations of your own children?
Oh, that is a whole new podcast, isn't it?
It can be.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, knowing this about you and others like you, it has changed my perspective. For example, I don't expect my kids to be friends.
Yeah.
I want them to be, but I can't expect them to be.
Yep.
They're not the same. They come from the same. We raised them. We have the exact same age gap in our kids, 5 years and 5 years, and then 12 or 18 years.
Oh, wow.
So so they're raised by different sets of parents.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, different healing periods of my life. I've raised each one of my children. Yeah. And
they're not identical twins. They're not the same people. Right. I mean, they can't be best friends.
So I have 2 girls and 3 boys, and right now I feel like a boy mom because all 3 of my boys are at home.
Right.
I'm a different mom than I was when I had my daughters living here. I was a different mom because my anxiety level was so much higher before.
Yeah. But even if you weren't, and even if they were all in great places in their life, do you expect them all to be friends?
No. And their personality, I've decided that they have to choose. Before I was like kind of forcing
yeah, me too.
We got to be a family. We got to be a family. This
once
is
a year we have to have family holidays. Every other year, like scheduling that family time. Like I mean,
yeah. And now they make the choice of who they want to build their relationship with. And yeah, sure, as a parent, it is tough.
I will say this. I am bitterly jealous of the other families that do that. Bitterly, with the ones that get together and have football Sundays and the ones that like do the Thanksgiving traditions. I'm bitterly jealous. I'm not going to rag on those people that are like, well, our family's like that. I'm just jealous.
I know.
It's not because I don't choose that because I don't want that. I choose it because I have to. It's by nature. I have to let go. Yes. I'm getting rid of what I can't have and I'm accepting of it. It's not because I don't want it.
Yeah.
I love those tight. I want matching pajama family. I want that. I just can't have that.
Yeah. And honestly, there's just so many different dynamics that our family has gone through.
Sure.
And right now, I mean, obviously there's a lot of trauma and grief that is processing through other issues.
Yeah.
And to watch my kids make different choices and different career paths. And,
sure.
It is really interesting that they do still want to get together and they want to have their kids with their cousins and they want these things because I fought for that when they were little and they saw how cool it was. And to be fair, they grieved their cousins being separated from them. And I didn't talk about it until they got older. And when I finally did, I just said, if they want a relationship, if your aunts and uncles want relationships with you, like you are happy to have a relationship with them. I just said, but for my mental health, I can't.
Amen to that. I understand that situation, and I think that having our kids see us set boundaries is one of the healthiest things that we can do. But also saying, but for you, I'm also willing to let you have that freedom to choose, and I won't get in the way of that. And I love that. Yeah. And that's, I think, also gives us the space to grieve as well.
Yeah.
And finally, Hollie, what do you want the listeners to know? What do you want to leave a message with about everything we've talked about today? And maybe not. Maybe you want to talk about your macaroni recipe.
I will tell you honestly, the thing that I have relied on the most and that I've been able to get back to is it really is about our relationship with God. That's it. Like, I could try to force my husband to do X, Y, Z. I could try and force my children to do X, Y, Z. Obviously, I've seen what it did with my siblings and it didn't work. And I love my siblings anyways. I really do love them. I pray for them often because I truly want them to be happy wherever their path is, even if it isn't with me, but also with my children. I know that I've made mistakes. I come from a very traumatic background, as well as my mother came from a traumatic background. And so, we carry those on to our children, but it really has become about my journey with God and seeing what he's done in my life and the way he's really shown up for me, the tender mercies that I call them just little rays of sun in my life where I just really knew that he was aware of me. Like, I know that this person was put in my life, like you were put in my life, and we have become stronger friends. And not sitting there trauma bonding, but like you've really helped me grow in different ways. You have different insights that I know the Lord has a hand in everything we do. And so if I look at that and say, if I could tell the listeners anything, is where has God brought you? And even in the trauma, even if you're angry with him, he allows us to be angry with him. He still loves us and wants us to come back. But he's okay. Be angry with him. There's a time and a place, and he truly loves us enough to wait. And, I just think that that's an incredible person to be able to love us regardless of our behavior, and that he's just waiting for us to, pick up a phone call and just say, hey, what's in store for me going through this process? And he's really shown up for me. And I feel like my relationship with him has grown because I've allowed other people to see their free agency and choose what they want to choose and not force it.
Oh, beautiful. Amen to that. I just want to thank you for sharing your journey with us. And Hollie, is it okay if people want to reach out and ask you questions and maybe email you?
Absolutely.
Okay, I will share her email, and you'll definitely be hearing more from Hollie coming up in the future. We're going to definitely talk about our beloved mothers. Thank you so much for your time today. I do appreciate it. And I just, I have to add one more thing, that in addition to God, you have been a strength in your own life, and you have come a long way, and you have put in the work. And this would not be possible without all the hard work that you have done. Through this whole journey, there has been a story behind of resilience and hard work, and this is all because of you. So thank you for sharing your story.